Do you have any recommendations on the best university or educational programs for beginner strength coaches? Well, I mean, I think the best program in the world is St. Mary's University in Twickenham, London. They have a brilliant senior lecturer there. Who is it? But I just think their master's program is great. I don't necessarily want to tell you what, I don't want to pick out a specific university, but for educational programs, I always tell people the following, okay? I think you should compete in an Olympic lifting meet. I didn't say you had to be the world champion, but one of the things that competing as an Olympic lifter, and boy, I tell you, a powerlifting meet probably wouldn't be a bad idea either, is that in the process of preparing yourself to, if you're physically able, obviously, and all those other caveats. But one of the things about competing in a weightlifting meet or a powerlifting meet is the great understanding you're going to have about peaking and programming and what the tension levels you need to do the jobs. So let's just put those two. So I do want you to have some experiences, okay? One of the experiences, maybe two, is compete in a weightlifting meet, Olympic lifting meet, and a powerlifting meet. Both, either, I don't care. I think it'll help you immensely. I think you need some kind of nutritional background, okay? I personally think, from my vision of things, John Berardi's Precision Nutrition is the best. Speaking of John has a new book he sent me this week. I think it's fabulous. And he also has a nice little note in here written to me. And he's a very kind young man. And I think the book has, I'm not as deep as I thought I'd be in it, but the section on crucial conversations is top end. So compete in an Olympic lifting or a powerlifting meet for the reasons of, because you want to be a strength coach. So you got to understand what intensity means. You got to have some background in nutrition, not necessarily become a professional nutritionist, but you're going to get hammered with nutrition questions. I don't think it would be a terrible idea to do like a 10K, a Spartan race, a mudder, a triathlon like I did back in the 80s, just to get a sense of the endurance side of things. But you have to do it and experience it, okay? So I also think if you can get yourself to a good kettlebell cert, what makes a good kettlebell cert really is if you have somebody really qualified to teach. There are, I mean, there's quite a few of them out there now, but one of the nice things about a kettlebell cert is that you'll, at least for a lot of people, they finally learn that this is a hinge and this is a squat. And that is very important for most people. There's some other certs I think have value, short day certs. I would also recommend that you go, if you can, to something like Perform Better and take it seriously. Go to the 3-day thing, try to go to many of the workshops as you can. And what'll happen is you're going to get a taste for the field. You're going to go to a mobility workshop. You might go to a Tom Plummer on the business of fitness. Now, wait, I know you want to be a strength coach at a high school or college, but I think you listen to somebody like Tom, you'll get a better vision about what's going on in the industry. And if you don't think that the fitness industry has an impact on your high school and collegiate athletes, you're crazy. Massive. Every time a new gym opens up or a new theory, it's gonna hit your school right away. There's this video that came out on Netflix a week or so ago about eating a certain style, and so it's every time I go anywhere, people ask me about, what do you think about this style of eating? I'm like, so you're going to, so I like on Netflix, I like to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, How I Met Your Mother, and James Bond movies. So I'm going for my scientific information, the same place I go to see Star Wars. You got a little issue here. So, you're going to get bombarded constantly by the new stuff in the industry. If you can go to a workshop with somebody who focuses on fat loss, and the next workshop is somebody who focuses on nutrition for golfers, you're going to see some similarities, but you'll also see some differences, and that's going to help you long-term in the business. I like the idea of having a university degree versus nothing breaks my heart more when I'll get an email from somebody and they'll have like 10 different groups of letters on their qualifications, but they don't have a university degree. I'm a big believer in, and it's okay if you can't afford it or you can't do it, but if you can, getting a degree in the field. Now, I'm not sure what the best degree is to be a strength coach at the university level anymore. I mean, if I say exercise physiology, I'll get emails from people saying that's the stupidest thing they've ever heard me say. If I say this or that, that's kinesia. Doesn't matter. But there are some really good programs out there. When I was in college, I recommended to my friends to go up to Oregon State because they had a fine professor there. Middle or Eastern Tennessee State has some fine professors there. Traditionally, Springfield College has had some fine professors. There's some junior colleges in California that are better than most universities for their staff. It's not as true anymore, but when I was at Skyline College, San Bruno, California, we had Case Tunzig there, Bob Lahati, and some others. They were pioneers on a thing called PAR courses. You'll recognize the word parkour from there. Skyline was one of the first in the nation. We had a water weigh-in tank at Skyline, which was just. We also had an area where they could measure your oxygen, carbon dioxide breathing in a junior college. And it was available full time to us athletes. I kind of wish I'd have used it even more. So you're gonna have to do a little researching, look at your budget, but then if you come up with a few things, you email me directly, and I'll help you if I can. All right. Thanks.